The idea for today's topic came from a discussion I was having the other day with a reader who had finished a business author's book. And after putting the book down, he said, "You know, I read the book." He said it was well written, um, easy to read. Plenty of examples in there. A guy talking about his clients and the work that he did. But the reader said, "You know, whenever I got finished, there there wasn't anything there. There weren't any insights. There weren't any actions. There weren't any takeaways. The author kept alluding to a system or alluding to his methodology, but he never would actually reveal any piece of it." And the reader said that I don't know if it was in the book or if he found it on the website, the author freely admitted that he kept the best pieces, the best advice out of the book. The advice was only available to the people who were in his inner circle or his mastermind group or his courses or classes or whatever. So the book was just basically a brochure to tease people into getting into the class or buying his other courses or whatever. Um, and the reader was he was more than disappointed. He was angry. Spent all of this time, and the author kept kind of enticing and alluding to these things that the reader thought were going to be later on in the book. And then at the end of it, it was basically, if you thought this was interesting, come to my website. So, a few things wrong with that approach to business books. I think probably the reason that business author went that direction is because he feared that by putting whatever it was down on paper, that he was going to be giving up his competitive advantage. So he's afraid that by putting it on paper, that somebody can either get the benefit that they need without him, or that his competitors could steal his ideas, and therefore he, I guess, lose his edge. I don't know. And that's sad because I wrote in my book. There's a small section in there titled. I titled it the secret sauce. It basically says that you can't give too much value in your book. You need to reveal the secret sauce. If if your one competitive advantage in your business can be written down on a piece of paper, then you don't have much of a business to begin with. And that's the real problem. Not that you're worried about other people, but that you don't have a great business to begin with. Number two, you fear that people are going to take the information that you give and they're going to implement it on their own, and therefore they won't need you. And that's not only a possibility, that's almost a certainty. But if you sell thousands of copies of your book, as you know, if you put in a decent marketing effort, you should. Those thousands of people who read your book, only a percentage of them, only a fraction of them, are going to be good potential clients and prospects for you. The majority of the people who read your book aren't going to be they're not going to be a fit for you on a number of reasons, maybe financially, emotionally, personality wise, industry wise, their orientation, their mentality, whatever it is. They're not going to want to work with you anyway. The people who do want to work with you are going to read what you've written in your book and say, oh my God, if he or she can reveal this much in their book and talk about, just imagine how much more they can help in real life, or if I had a coaching session with them, or if I took their full course. I'm working with another author right now, and he said, Derek, he said, until we started, working on this book, I didn't realize that even in talking quite a bit about one particular topic, that you can only go so far before you start getting down into the weeds. So even if even if you put a lot of great value in your book, and even if you give a lot of the great ideas, you can't go too far without all of a sudden it turning into kind of an academic treatise, like a textbook. Speaking of textbooks, think back to if you had the opportunity to go through university, that there are a number of courses where you'll have one textbook, and that textbook will serve for 3 different courses, because there's so much in that textbook, because the authors, being the experts and especially teachers, put every detail in the world, and that's why textbooks are this thick, and why most of them are as boring as watching paint dry. But even in putting everything in there, even in having a whole class dedicated to a topic, most courses only cover just a fraction of that textbook. So you'll use that textbook for whatever it is 101, and then whatever it is 201, and then whatever it is 202. So all of that to say that in a business book, which are considerably shorter than textbooks, and hopefully considerably more intriguing and compelling, that even in giving people a lot of rich information and ideas, you're still not going to be able to cover everything that there is to know and that there is to cover. So whenever you're writing your book, or if you're helping somebody write a book, don't approach it from a mentality of fear, of being afraid that you're going to lose your business if you put a couple of ideas or insights or how you do things in there. Don't approach it from a mentality of fear that people are going to know exactly what you think, or how you don't think, or how much you know, or how much you don't know. Don't approach it from a mentality of fear, being worried that so many people, the majority of people who read your book aren't actually going to work with you and use your consulting services, or take your courses, or use your other products, or that your competitors are going to steal your ideas. Don't be afraid of those things. Whenever you read great business books, truly great business books, number one, they are chock full of wonderful information and ideas. And number two, the authors point back to those books as some of the main catalysts of their success. I have yet, and I'm sure that somewhere in the history of mankind that there are probably 1 or 2, but I have yet to meet or to read about a person who said, writing that business book was the worst business decision I ever made. If I could do it over again, I wouldn't write it. Anytime I speak to someone who's ever written a business book, the only thing that I've ever heard them say is they wish they would have written it sooner. Don't be afraid. Concentrate on giving incredible value, and then let karma do its job.